Hi everyone, so this will be my review on the Homeworx by Slatkin & Co. 18-ounce forward candle in the scent Banana Daquiri. Fragrance notes listed on the bottom of the candle list banana, coconut froth, dark rum, and sugared musk. However, if you go on the Slatkin & Co. website, you get more of a detailed breakdown of the fragrance notes. So on there it lists top, creamy strawberry milk, lemon leaf, which is really weird, middle, sweet banana daiquiri, coconut froth, bottom notes list fluffy marshmallow, and sugared musk. I really love the design of Homeworx's, especially their wraparound labels. This one has a very nice tropical scene, and I feel like it looks really pretty lit up, especially when the flames are very hot and bright. And the burn time of this candle is approximately 30 to 55 hours. I want to mention that my pour date lists December 8th, 2022, and I purchased mine on sale at Marshall's for $13. So let's go on to the scent story that is listed on the website. It says, sweet ripe banana is whipped with tasty coconut froth and sugared musk, topped with a shot of dark rum for this classic island libation. Okay, so the main reason why I purchased this is because on cold, I got a very strong scent, which typically doesn't always happen with Homeworx candles. I mean, sometimes it does and they burn really light, but I really love smelling a strong candle because at least I have a pretty okay indication of how it will perform when it's burning or when it's lit up. So on cold, I really enjoyed this because it was pretty strong. It was about an 8 out of 10. And while I'm not the type of person that enjoys a lot of banana fragrances, whether that's a banana gourmand like banana bundt cake, banana smoothie, or anything like that, or even banana candy, I do enjoy strong fragrances. So I thought, ooh, let me give this a go. And for $13, that seemed pretty reasonable. While burning, oh gosh, this gave me such a poor performance in terms of consistency. I feel like each time I lit this candle, I wasn't sure what I was going to get, which is the main drawback to this candle. So while burning, it was anywhere from a 3 to a 7, and I'll explain that. And that's in terms of strength and projection. So, okay, but first, let me step back and talk about the fragrance on cold. I get a heavy banana scent, but I like it that it's mixed with coconut, and it's not necessarily like just the coconut juice. I feel like it's specifically that coconut milk froth that you get when you put a bunch of ice and the tropical juices in the blender and you get like that foam at the top. Very delicious. I feel like banana scents, at least to me, tend to have some heaviness to it. But this one, I don't really smell it. At least I didn't get it a lot. And I feel like it's not an artificial banana, like a banana runts candy that could be a little bit too cloying. I get more of a ripe banana scent. So I think if it had to lean either artificial or authentic, I would say it leans a bit more authentic. I do want to say it's a bit hard to detect the rum notes. So it's not too boozy. So like if you were a little bit put off by the addition of rum in the fragrance, it's not going to be super alcoholic for sure. All right, so while burning, oh gosh, the first burn I have to say was perfect. It was a 7 out of 10 on strength and projection, and it oddly pulled out relatively quickly within an hour, which is uncommon for Homeworx candles because sometimes they tend to burn within 5+ hours, which tends to be more the norm. But this one, it was really hot, pulled out, which probably explained the mushroom tops that I got. So I really enjoyed it. The first burn, it was that summer tropical drink scent. The rum came out just a tiny bit, but I do want to make a note that I did trim my mushroom tops. And I think that's where the problem started to occur because after I want to say like even the second burn, I feel like it wasn't a 7 out of 10. It was more of a 6.5. And I feel like it started to go downhill. I'm not sure how I was supposed to avoid that because I did need to trim off my mushroom tops or else I was going to get a lot of fallout into the wax pool. But then I got the puniest wicks I've ever seen in my life. And at this point, the strength and projection greatly decreased and it just suffered. It was around it dropped significantly down to like a 4 out of 10. And that refreshing banana coconut milk mixture turned into more of a solid, overly ripe banana with very little coconut, or at least a diminished coconut note compared to that first initial burn, which I think was, well, I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it wasn't this. I feel like at this point, because the wicks were so puny, that it was starting to mess with the fragrance of the candle itself. And I think the rum note was starting to turn a bit darker, and it was, I feel like, becoming more prominent and almost turning into this rubbing alcohol nail polish scent, or at least it was starting to get nuances of that, which I definitely didn't like. So it smelled less like of a drink scent and more of this like sunscreen body care mixture. It could also be that the musk notes at the bottom were starting to come out a lot more. Yeah, so I'm not sure, but it was just going downhill at this point. So I'll insert a clip of what I did, but essentially I ended up getting a bunch of cotton balls and soaking up a bunch of wax. So I think that did help with the performance, because the subsequent burn that I did, the flames were really bright. But then, of course, eventually as my burn time increased, they started to get punier and punier, given that I didn't even trim them at this point because I was scared that it was going to get even punier. So, yeah, it's just not cool. And I want to say that this all started when the wax line was at or around where it says banana in the label. So pretty early on. Hi everyone. So I'm having quite a big issue with this Homeworx Banana Daquiri candle. It was fine. First burn was perfect, and then it like slowly got worse. So right now in the halfway mark, the reason why you can't see this is because I have the puniest flames ever. I've already cotton balled this candle maybe about 3 times. The last 2 times I ended up saving the cotton balls just to show you, but it's equaling less like strength and throw. Let me go ahead, change the angle, and show you what I've been dealing with the last, I would say like 3 burns or so. And also the, what do you call it? I've had to relight some of these wicks because just moving it or like any type of like wind or gust tends to blow them out. So let me change the angle and show you. All right, so this is how my very sad Homeworx Banana Daquiri candle is looking. If you can tell, I think I didn't cotton ball it enough because I have like this unburnt ledge of wax right there. And I do have quite a bit of fallout, and I think the low flames are equaling more of the like the carbon balls falling into the wax as well as the soot instead of going out into the air, which I don't want that, but now it's going into the wax and it's kind of changing the scent, because initially the first burn, which was perfect, I think I mentioned this already, it had a very nice tropical, I'm in a hotel resort in Hawaii type of a scent to it. It was more heavy on the coconut. Now the last few times I've burned this, it smells more of just like a mushy kind of overripe banana, and I feel like the coconut, like the refreshing tropicalness that I get from the coconut, is diminishing. So yeah, I'm gonna have to cotton ball this yet again. I think I'm going to do more than I did last time. So last time I think I did maybe 2 cotton balls worth of wax, and I think this time I'm going to do maybe 3 or 4 just to really make sure that I'll get an even wax pool. Hopefully I will, but I'm not too in love with this candle scent that I'm going to be heartbroken, but it's just quite annoying. So let me show you how the cotton balls look like that I soaked up. I think I got rid of the other one, but here we go. I kept it and put it on the Homeworx lid. You can see right there, it wasn't discolored or anything, so I'm curious to see how my cotton balls will look this go around. But yeah, so far, strength and throw from the first burn, it was like 7. Projection, I would also give it a 7. And right now it's like at a 3. And I think the reason why is because initially when I burned this, the flames were higher and it was more at around like a 5 to a 6. But then as I think right now I'm in my second hour, it just keeps diminishing because these flames are going to, I know, turn off. So here, let me go ahead and like move this ever so slightly. So let me like move it over here, move it over there. And you see, just like with that little bit of movement, the candle turns off. I don't even need to swish it around that much. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead, get some cotton balls, pick up some of the wax. Hopefully that'll take care of some of the soot issues that are in the wax, but I'll be right back. All right, so I wanted to skip over this part, but essentially I got 4 cotton balls worth of wax, and right now here it is. So I can't tell right now if it is more sooty or less than the other ones just because it kind of plopped them all together. So I have not, or I am not going to trim my wicks. I actually haven't done that well, since I noticed that my flames were becoming smaller and smaller. So typically I would suggest to wait for your wax to harden up, but I kind of just want to know what's going to happen already. So ideally what's going to happen is that my flames are going to be a bit stronger than before. I mean, hopefully they better be. If you can tell right now, my flame is, or actually all of my flames are doing a lot better than they were before. So hopefully, because I didn't trim them and I soaked up a pretty decent, healthy amount of wax, that it's going to continue like this. I'm not sure exactly how this happened because I was trimming my wicks, maybe like the first 2 or 3 burns, and then when I noticed that my strength and throw wasn't doing so well, I noticed that my flames were a lot smaller, so I stopped. And I mean, theoretically, with me soaking up the wax as well, I feel like that should have helped it out. I also haven't been trimming them, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and like closely monitor this candle. And let's see if the scent changes at all or if I'm back to puny wicks. Because if I'm back to puny wicks, I'm just so over this candle for now. But yeah, this is how it's looking like after I soaked up the wax. A lot healthier with the flames. And if I change the angle, you can actually see that the candle's lit up. Whereas before, you couldn't really tell that I had a candle lit up because it was so dim. All right, so here's how the candle is supposed to look like when you have healthy flames. It really illuminates the wraparound packaging. I really love the Palm Beach. It plays into that sunset look to it. So yeah, here is Banana Daiquiri. Fingers crossed that I won't have any more puny wicks and or issues with that unburnt ledge of wax. That might take a while to correct if it does, and if not, I can kind of see why because the last 2 burns, it hasn't fully pulled out. But hopefully this gets hot enough. But yeah, here is Banana Daiquiri. All right, let me show you an overhead view. I think I would have inserted the clip of where I was basically just complaining about this candle. And then I'll show you how it looks like right now. I think you might notice, but you can't tell it's lit up. And that's because I have puny wicks, spoiler. All right, so if you see right here is an overhead view, and you can see the big issue that this candle has, which is the wick. The wicks and the flame. It's just not a healthy flame. And right now it's been burning for about 2.5 hours and I can't really smell it. It's maybe, if I had to be generous, like a 3 or 4 out of 10, and it filled up maybe like a quarter of my room, but it's not really doing much. I don't know if I'm going to continue to burn it. Maybe I'll burn it for like ambiance sake and stuff, but at this point, I probably, if I enjoyed the scent more, I'd probably put it under my candle lamp, but I don't really. So I'm just going to let this burn into oblivion. All right. So overall, I would say this candle, while it did not soot, surprisingly, I think that the scent and the wick troubles I experienced for the majority of my burn were just not it. It's too much work for a scent that I could care less about. The first burn was great and everything else was pretty much meh. I also want to reiterate that I had to soak up a good chunk of wax. It was maybe about 5 or 6 cotton balls. So when you do that, you're basically like tossing away what should have been good wax that should have burned correctly, but no, it didn't. So overall, I think if you enjoy banana scents and home fragrance, this is a great option. Don't be scared by the rum note. It's hardly noticeable or overpowering. It doesn't outshine the banana and coconut notes. Of course, the first scent that I get is that banana, and then I guess the companion scent would be the coconut. It's sweet but not cloying or too artificial, and it's great for the summer. However, given the burn performance was pretty terrible, I would not repurchase, let alone because I feel like banana scents, I don't really care for them. So this is just a lot of work for a scent that I don't really care for. And it's a shame that my wicks were pretty much this small for the majority of my burn. So yeah, that has been my experience on the Homeworx by Slatkin & Co. 18-ounce forward candle in the scent Banana Daquiri. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have a great day. Okay, bye.